I mean, he definitely was hurt by power creep, but not nearly as much as others. Pokemon Platinum is without question one of the top 3 Pokemon games of all time, and its Pokedex overall was pretty good too. So now I'm gonna rank how well Pokemon in this dex can help you out in your Pokemon Nuzlocke. This video is probably gonna be over an hour long, so strap in. But before I start, I kindly want to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you're into Pokemon content like this. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. Okay, let's get started with the starters. Now most people would assume that Infernape is the best, but in my opinion the best starter is my GOAT Torterra-sama. And I'm not just saying that because he's my favorite Sinnoh starter. With just his 2 typings alone, he's great for battling Rourke, Byron, Volkner, Bertha, and Crasher Wake. And with the move Bite, he does well against Fantina's gym too. And I'm counting Lucian too because Torterra can use Crunch to take out his Espeon or Alakazam, and Woodhammer is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on his Gallade, provided that they are around the same level. I've run the calculations, so that's 7 important trainers that Torterra is good against. Torterra is not the best when it comes to fighting Flint because he's weak to fire moves. Meanwhile, Infernape is only helpful when fighting 6 important trainers: Gardenia, Byron, the 7th gym leader, Aaron, and thanks to the move Dig, he can be a big help when fighting Volkner and Flint. Now you could overlevel your Chimchar for the Rourke fight to get super effective Mach Punch, but I'm talking about hardcore Nuzlockes, and you can't do that in a hardcore Nuzlocke. Also, I know Bertha's whole team can probably one-shot Infernape with Stab, super effective Earthquake, but Infernape can use Grass Knot to guaranteed outspeed and one-shot Bertha's Golem and Rhyperior. Can't say the same for her other Pokemon though. Empoleon is only useful for fighting 3 important trainers. That's Rourke, the 7th gym, and Flint. I would count Bertha, but like I said, all of her Pokemon know Earthquake, and thanks to Empoleon being a Steel type, he's weak to that move. I've never seen a Pokemon get so screwed by the Steel typing. They should have made Mega Blastoise a Steel type. He even gets Flash Cannon as a level up move. But back to the Sinnoh starters, I'm putting Torterra and Infernape in S, and putting Empoleon up in B. Now we got the regional bird of the dex, Staraptor. Some of you knew this already, but Staraptor is weak to 3 types, Electric, Ice, and Rock, but it's also strong against 3 types, Grass, Bug, and Fighting. All 6 of these types are used by a gym leader or Elite 4 member in this game. So in that regard, it's just as helpful as it is hurtful. The only exception is the Ice gym because Staraptor can have close combat before that gym and can definitely one-shot the gym leader Sneasel. But in terms of abilities and stats, Staraptor will be a big help on the team. It might not be that bulky, but it's very fast, hits hard, and has one of the best abilities in the game, Intimidate. This is without a doubt going into the A tier. Also, Stab Return goes crazy. Bibarel is one of those Pokemon that's only really useful for the early to mid-game portions of the journey. And even in those portions of the game, it's barely helpful for the important trainers. It has the type disadvantage against the first 3 gym leaders. The only time I can see Bibarel being useful is when you fight Jupiter, and I guess when you fight Crasher Wake because it can learn Thunderbolt. After that point of the game, it shouldn't even be used anymore because of its inferior stats. I'll put it in D because it's not completely useless and is probably the best HM slave in the franchise. Sorry to tell you this guys, but Cricketune is an easy F tier. Its base stat total doesn't even reach 400. Not having a base stat total of at least 75 is already bad enough, but not even reaching 400? You're just destined to be a failure. It's only useful for fighting Gardenia and nothing else. If you do get Kricketot as an encounter, delay its evolution by 1 level so it can learn Bug Bite. Me personally, if I get Kricketot as an encounter, I'm either ignoring it or restarting the Nuzlocke. That thing is a waste of time. Dilly woo! Now we got one of my favorite electric types of all time, my boy Luxray. Not only is his design cool as fuck, he's probably like the 2nd best electric type in the game. Helpful against Crasher Wake, and with the moves Iron Tail, Bite, and Crunch, he's great for fighting Fantina, the 7th gym leader, and Lucian. And if the Shinx you catch has the ability to Intimidate, then man oh man, you're in for a great time. My only complaint about Luxray is that his best electric physical move is Spark, which is only 65 base power, and that's kind of a weak move. Luckily, right before the 6th gym, you can find the Magnet item, which will raise the base power of Spark from 65 to 78, which is much better. His speed stat might not be impressive, but he has decent defenses and great offensive stats. If Luxray was always guaranteed to have Intimidate and had a better physical stat move, I'd put it in S tier without question. But his other ability, Rivalry, can be a bit of a pain at times. And Spark just leaves me wishing that Wild Charge was in the game, which it is not. So I'll just put him in A. Alakazam is one of those Pokemon that wasn't really hindered by power creep over the generations. I mean, he definitely was hurt by power creep, but not nearly as much as others. Right off the bat, I can tell you Alakazam is perfect for dealing with most of the poison types that Team Galactic uses, with the exception of the Stunky line. He's definitely helpful for fighting the fighting type gym, but Maylene surprisingly only has one Pokemon with the Psychic. But Alakazam has much more in his bag than just Psychic type moves. He can learn Shockwave for the Crash or Wake fight, Focus Blast for the 6th and 7th gym fights, Grass Knot for Bertha, and Shadow Ball for Lucian. Now sadly, Kazam has low HP and low defense, but he has decent special bulk, great speed, and a fantastic base 135 special attack. And since he's so fast, you could potentially sweep a bunch of NPCs by using Calm Mind a few times and spamming Psychic or Shadow Ball or whatever. The only reason I'm not putting him into S tier is because his defense stat is super low and you'll have to play around it. So A tier will have to do. Gyarados is an easy S. He might just be the most iconic Nuzlocke Pokemon of all time. It doesn't matter which region you catch it in, Gyarados will always be helpful on your journey to be the very best. It gets Bite for Fantina, does well against Byron because most of his team is weak to water, can learn a super effective move against every one of the 7th gym leaders Pokemon, those moves being Fire Blast, Aqua Tail, and Payback. It takes the Gyarados learning Stone Edge for some reason. It just completely destroys the Elite Four. Now you can teach your Gyarados to TM for Earthquake if you wanted to, but I wouldn't suggest it because some of the ground type encounters you catch will not get Earthquake while leveling up in this game. Some of them do, but some of them don't. Hell, Steelix and Gliscor don't get Dig or Earthquake via level up. And don't forget, this is Gen 4. Once you use a TM, that shit's gone for good. Also, if you're really worried about Cynthia's Garchomp, then this might be a good Garchomp killer. When she sends out her Garchomp, you send out Gyarados, lower its attack with the Intimidate, then just two-shot it with Never Melt Ice boosted Ice Fang. You can get the Never Melt Ice item in Mount Coronet after you beat the 6th gym. It'll power up Ice Fang just like how Magnet powers up Spark. Gyarados' only bad stat is Special Attack, and even then, you can still put it to good use by using Fire Blast on the 7th gym leaders Abomasnow. But I think I've made my point by now. Gyarados is sitting pretty in S tier, pretty being the operative word. Roserade is a stone evolution, so you're gonna have to wait until your Roselia has learned good level up moves before you evolve it. I recommend not evolving it until level 28. At that point, your Roselia will have the moves Giga Drain and Toxic Spikes, both very useful moves. It only has one coverage move, which is Shadow Ball, and you can't even get the TM for that until after you've beaten the 5th gym. Roserade's good against Rourke, Crash Awake, Bertha, and half of Volkner's team. In terms of stats, Roserade is just Alakazam at home. Low HP and defense, high special attack, special defense, and speed. I think it belongs in B tier with Mr. Napoleon Complex. The Johto Goat Crobat is clutch in every region he's available in, and Sinnoh is no different. It's basically just Staraptor with stats more focused on speed rather than attack. Also, no Intimidate on this guy. He's helpful for fighting Maylene, Aaron, and Gardenia. It takes to learning the move Bite. He is a big help against battling Fantina too. Even with his added Psychic type weakness, I think he belongs in A tier. He's super fast, has nice bulk, and a decent attack stat. Golem is a Pokemon I'll gladly put on my team whenever I'm playing Pokemon Platinum, but there's just one teeny tiny problem. Golem is weak to a whopping 6 types, and all of those types are represented by important trainers in this game. Yeah, it ain't looking good for my boy Golem. This Pokemon does learn good coverage moves like Brick Break, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch, but you're never going to use those moves. For example, Golem could use Fire Punch on grass types, right? Don't do that. Bro is going to get outsped and KO'd by whatever grass type move they've got. And you're not going to use Thunder Punch on a flying type because you have Stab Rock Blast or whatever. He's only reliable for battling Volkner, Aaron, and Flint. But hey, at least he's great for fighting route trainers. I personally think he belongs in B tier. Yeah, he has a lot of weaknesses, but Stab Earthquake is always a great thing to have, especially when your attack stat is base 110. Also, Golem's special defense is a low, so be careful.
Hey Golem, want a glass of water?
Sure.
I forgot he was times 4 weak to water type moves.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
Forgot to put him in B tier like an idiot. I got you. You can catch Onix after the 1st gym and evolve it into a Steelix after only the 2nd gym. Just grab a Metal Coat from a Bronzor in the secret Wayward Cave. They have a 5% chance of holding one. In terms of stats, Steelix has a decent attack and a ridiculously high base 200 defense, but it unfortunately has very low special defense and speed. So if you're not careful, this thing can probably get one-shot by a bunch of special attackers. Type-wise, it's helpful for fighting Byron, the 7th gym leader, Aaron, and Volkner. And with the moves Crunch and Fire Fang, it can help you beat Lucian too. Steelix's biggest problem is that he doesn't get any great ground moves in his level up moveset, so if you really want to use this thing, you're going to have to use your Dig or Earthquake TM on it. Steelix does learn Iron Tail via level up, but that's not until level 41, which is luckily right before you battle the 7th gym leader, when you need it the most. Steelix might not be that useful during the first half of the journey, but in the second half, oh boy does he pop off. He's too useful to go in B tier, so I'm putting him in A. Next up is Rampardos. Don't use this. Well, you can use Craniados for the Fantina fight because it gets assurance, but that's it. I've run so many calcs about how the average Rampardos fares against some of the Pokemon you'll battle in this game, like Volkner's Raichu or the 7th Gym Leader's Frostlass, and most of them end up with Rampardos being outsped and two-shot by whatever stab move the opponent uses. And despite its ridiculously high base 165 attack, it can't knock out said Pokemon in one hit because the moves it gets for most of the journey are weak, and the Pokemon it can knock out will leave Rampardos in yellow health, so whatever mon they send out next is definitely killing your Rampardos. What I'm getting at is that Rampardos is only good at killing one Pokemon on any important trainer's team, if even that. He's not doing anything against Crasher Wake or Byron. You don't want a Pokemon that's only good for beating one other Pokemon at most on your team. You want something really reliable like Gliscor or Machamp, Pokemon that have defensive and offensive stats to potentially sweep half an NPC's team. That's basically where all of Rampardos' problems lie. You know the popular Family Guy meme where the dad is like, I told you when I finished you can have what's left. The dad is Rampardos' attack stat and the rest of his family are the other stats, because all of his stat distribution went straight into his attack. He'll be useful for Fantina and maybe a couple other Pokemon on the other important trainers' teams, but in my opinion, he goes straight into the F tier. And while we're at it, we can go ahead and put Bastiodon down there too. Have you ever heard someone unironically say, man, I sure do love using Bastiodon on my Pokemon team? No? Yeah, that's because it's never been said. Ever. I've probably watched thousands of Pokemon videos, which is kind of sad when you really think about it, and the only time I've seen someone use Shieldon or Bastiodon is if they're doing one of those mono-type playthroughs where you only use Pokemon of one type, in this case Rock or Steel obviously. That's just how bad Bastiodon is. He's only used when there's almost no other option. The only good thing this Pokemon has going for it is Metal Burst, because you can cheese a bunch of 1v1s that way, and it can't even do that until after the 7th gym, which is when it finally learns that move. It's one of the slowest Pokemon of all time. Low health, low attack, and even lower special attack. All of its stat distribution went straight into defense and special defense. My advice? Just spam Toxic and Metal Burst the entire time. You can get the Toxic TM right before the 5th gym. You're welcome. Don't even bother using actual attacking moves. Bastiodon's attack stat doesn't even reach base 60. Even if you did want to use actual attacking moves like Dig or Iron Tail, those moves aren't even available until you're over halfway through the journey. You can probably use Metal Burst to take out 1 or 2 Pokemon on Volkner or the Elite Force team, but besides that, F tier, without question. Now Machamp, when it comes to Nuzlocks, is a very nice Pokemon to have, even when it only has access to just fighting type moves. But here in Platinum, we have access to move tutor moves right before you battle Crasher Wake. In theory, you could fully evolve your Machop into Machamp right before you fight Fantina. Unfortunately, it will still only have fighting type and normal type moves up to that point, so he's not touching her ghost types. They should have locked the move tutor until after the 5th gym, because Thunder Punch Machamp goes crazy on Crasher Wake's team. His fighting type stab alone is great for beating the 7th gym, Rourke, and his dad. And with the moves Fire Punch and Ice Punch, it's great against Aaron and Bertha respectively. Lastly, if you want to use one of your really good Rock-type TMs on him, like Stone Edge Rock Slide, Flint gets folded by Machamp too. His speed stat is very low, but he has the bulk and attack to 2-hit KO at least half of the Pokemon in the game. He's definitely going in the S tier. Golduck is without question one of the best Pokemon to have in a Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke because of its pure water typing and access to a wide variety of moves like Ice Beam, Psychic, Surf, Shadow Claw, and Focus Blast. With these moves, it's good against Rourke, Byron, the 7th gym leader, Bertha, and Flint. You would think Psyduck would be a big help for the Maylene fight because it can learn Psychic right before this fight, but only one of Maylene's Pokemon is weak to Psychic, and that's her Machoke. And let's be honest, that Machoke is going to live through the Psychic attack and then kill your Psyduck with max power revenge. Golduck has decent special attack, decent speed, and nice bulk. This guy is an easy A tier. Oh dear God, now I gotta talk about the Wormadam forms. Let me put them up here. I heard this joke on YouTube somewhere, so now I gotta make the same joke too. Wormadam, more like don't give a damn. I don't know the names of these forms, so I'm just going to call them the Spinach form, Papa John form, and Cotton Candy form respectively. They all have a base speed of 36, so they ain't outspeeding shit. The Spinach form is a special attacking bug grass type that doesn't get Signal Beam until the post game. You can teach it Giga Drain after the 5th gym level. It's helpful against Gardenia, Crash Awake, and can probably nuke most of Bertha's team with a Miracle Seed boosted Leaf Storm. That would be very funny to watch actually.
Double kill.
B tier. Now I actually have used the Papa John's form in the playthrough and it actually wasn't complete dog shit. It's a physical attacker and its best bug move is unfortunately Bug Bite, but if you give it the silver powder item you can get in Eternal Forest, it goes from 60 base power to 72 base power. Instead of being Bug Grass, it's Bug Ground and can learn the TMs for Earthquake and Dig. It's good for fighting Gardenia, Lucian, Byron, half of Volkner's team, and is a good counter to Mayling's Lucario. It's C tier. The last form, the Cotton Candy form, was intended to be a mixed attacker to differentiate it from the other two Wormadam forms, but when both your attacking stats are base 69, you ain't doing shit. If you are basically forced to use this because of a lack of useful Nuzlocke Pokemon, I'd personally run the moves Silver Powder boosted Bug Bite and Gyro Ball until it learns the move Iron Head. It has a huge type advantage against Lucian and the 7th gym leader, but like I said, its special attack stat is base 69, so I wouldn't expect too much from it. D tier. I should have said this a bit earlier, but both Wormadam and Mothim can evolve from Burmy, but the Pokemon Burmy evolves into depends on Burmy's gender. If it's a female, it evolves into Wormadam, and if it's a male, it evolves into Mothim. You would think that the females would evolve into Mothim because its design comes off as kind of feminine, or at least that's what I always thought growing up. At least it's not as bad as Primarina. It's got a whole siren-ass design, long feminine hair, 75% male. But onto Mothim, this is an F tier. It's only useful for when battling Gardenia. You would think that Gust Mothim would go stupid on Mayling's team, but her Meditite and Machoke know the move Rock Tomb, which will most likely one-tap your Mothim before it can secure the kill. The Machoke's Rock Tomb definitely one-shots it. The bug flying type combination is just terrible. Okay, we all know that Beautifly and Dustox are just weak early game bug Pokemon that aren't meant to be used in the mid to late game, so I'm just going to put them in F tier so we can move on. Vespiquen is another bug flying type, but its only coverage move is Power Gem. Power Gem would be very helpful for fighting the 7th gym at Flint, if not for the fact that Vespiquen is weak against both of their teams. This mon will only be helpful when fighting Gardenia and I guess Lucian. It has low speed but very good bulk. It barely makes it out of F. Imagine flying around while not being able to learn fly. Can't relate. Do I really need to explain where Pachirisu is going? It only has a base stat total of 405, and its attacking stats don't even reach base 50. I know it's fast and can learn some really good status moves, but you definitely don't want to get this as an encounter. This is instantly going into the F tier. Floatzel is a fast glass cannon Pokemon with a decent move pool and is without a doubt one of the greatest water types introduced in Generation 4. The main moves your Floatzel will be running are Dive, Crunch, Ice Punch, and maybe Brick Break. It'll be a big help when fighting Fantina, Byron, Bertha, and Flint. And thanks to it learning Brick Break and Crunch, it does well against most of the 7th gym leader's team too. Crunch sadly won't get you too far against Lucian's team because most of his Pokemon are not weak to Crunch or have a super effective move against Floatzel. I swear that man thought of almost everything. Despite that, I think Floatzel belongs in A tier. It might be frail, but it's still a big help against a lot of important trainers. Cheryl made me realize that if you were a pure grass type in Gens 1 through 4 and your name was not Sceptile, then you basically had no good move pool. And Cheryl is not an exception. This will be helpful against Crash Awake, and it surprisingly has the stats to help you beat Bertha too. It has decent speed and special attack, but has mediocre bulk. It makes it into the D tier spot, but barely. Have fun spamming Giga Drain. This three-eyed blob used to rub me the wrong way back in the Generation 7 competitive days, but here in Sinnoh, there isn't a better water ground type to ask for. It's only got one useful coverage move, which is obviously Ice Beam, but honestly, that's all it really needs. It may be as slow as a drop of molasses sliding down a spoon, but it has decent special attack and great bulk. Gastrodon is good against Byron, Volkner, Bertha, and Flint. And with access to recover, it beats most Pokemon in 1v1s, whether or not Gastrodon has a super effective move. Just hope the opponent doesn't have a grass type move. Its best ground type special attacking move is sadly Mud Bomb, a 65 base power move, but Mud Bomb worked just fine for me back when I used it. I didn't even have to boost its power with the soft sand item. This is an easy S tier, no doubt about it. Poke Waters are love, Poke Waters are life. I get to talk about my boy Heracross yet again, and as usual, he doesn't disappoint. If you're lucky, you can catch a Heracross via Honey Trees right before the second gym. Now unfortunately, he can't learn any bug type moves before the second gym. In fact, he doesn't get any bug type moves until Level Horn, which is at level 55, which is ridiculous. But he does learn Aerial Ace before the second gym, which is super effective against all of Gardenia's Pokemon. And I'm still trying to figure out why this bug fighting type learns Aerial Ace via level up. He's ×4 weak to this move. Besides Gardenia, Aerial Ace goes stupid on Maylene's team too, and half of Aaron's team. Brick Break is great against Byron and the 7th Gym Leader's team, and Dig or Earthquake will let you beat Volkner and Aaron's Strapion. I really want to say that Megahorn Heracross does great against Lucian, but Heracross is actually weak to Psychic, so I can't recommend it. He has good bulk, decent speed, and an amazing 125 attack. Heracross will be super helpful for your Pokemon Nuzlocke, especially if you catch one with the ability Guts. It's going into S tier. Ooh, and now I get to talk about my second favorite Pokemon of all time, my boy Ambipom, who is sadly just a glass cannon Pokemon that hardly does its job right. Base 115 speed and base 100 attack is nice, but when you're frail as fuck, you're gonna want even more offensive power. Just look at Alakazam and Gengar for example. But in terms of Nuzlocke viability, as long as your opponent doesn't have a fighting type move or a super high offensive stat, Ambipom should do a great job. In fact, after you beat Maylene, Ambipom can have a super effective move for every remaining gym leader and all Elite Four members. I'm serious. Thunder Punch for Crasher Week, Brick Break for Byron and the 7th gym, Dig for Volkner and Flint, Fire Punch for Aaron, Ice Punch for Bertha, and lastly Shadow Claw for Lucian. It also gets some great status moves too, like Screech, Nasty Plot, and Baton Pass. With that logic, you could say Ambipom belongs in S tier, but I know how annoying those low defensive stats are, so I'll only put it in A. Also, I know I might become a Lappy Stock if I put Ambipom in S. Also, Stab Return goes crazy. Next we have my favorite Exploder, that being Drifblim. Now if anything is holding Drifblim back, it would be its wonky ass stat spread. Low defenses but a gigantic HP stat. Base 90 special attack is good for Shadow Ball spamming, but Drifblim sadly doesn't get Air Slash in this gen, so you're stuck using Air Cutter or Fly for the second half of the game. You can't even boost Air Cutter's power with the Shark Beak or Sky Plate because the Shark Beak is post game and you don't get the Sky Plate until right before the Elite Four. Well, you can get another Sky Plate in the underground area, but I don't know shit about the underground. I've only ever emulated this game, played the game normally on my normal DS and never at all thought of emulating it. Okay, phew, that was a close one. Drifblim can use Gust on Gardenia's team, Gust and Psychic for most of Maylene's team, and Fly for Aaron's team. It does get a super effective move for Crasher Wake's team, but most of his mons have super effective moves for Drifblim too. And the exact same thing goes for Lucian and Fantina, so battle wisely against them. I personally think it belongs in B tier. It has a lot of weaknesses, but can be surprisingly helpful. Now Lopunny is surprisingly very good and very mid at the same time. It's very good in the sense that it has an amazing move pool, and has super effective moves for every important trainer after Maylene with one exception, which is Lucian, but it's also very mid because its attack stat is only base 78 and can barely put that good move pool to use. But if you can find a way to boost its attack by grinding attack EVs from a wild Shinx or Gibble, or using a bunch of protein items on it, Lopunny will become one of your greatest encounters without question. At that point, it'll have high speed, good attack, and good bulk. What more is there to ask for? Some notable moves it gets are Jump Kick, Dig, the elemental punches, and of course, Stab Return goes crazy. Just hope that your Lopunny doesn't have the ability Klutz, but even if it does have that ability, I still think this Pokemon overall belongs in A tier. I know that sounds crazy to some of you, but trust me, if you put in the time and effort, Lopunny will become one of your most useful encounters. Next we have Mr. I don't know what power creep is, Gengar. You can have a Ghastly before the second gym, but sadly it won't have any poison moves by then. In fact, you can't teach Gengar any good poison type moves until after the 7th gym, when you get the TM for Sludge Bomb. This poison type gets no poison type moves through level up. None. Don't know what they were thinking. In terms of stats, Gengar is almost the exact same as Alakazam. They're just really fast special attackers with low defense. Gengar excels at battling multiple trainers like Maylene, Byron, the 7th gym leader, Bertha, and more. with a really good move pool that consists of moves like Thunderbolt, Giga Drain, and Psychic. I really want to put it in S tier, but its low health and defense drag it down a bit, so A tier will have to work. Seaking, you know I love you, buddy. You're one of my favorite water types, but you're just not it, bruh. Its only coverage move is Poison Jab, a move you'll never use with the Seaking. Back in Gen 4, Poison was only super effective against Grass. What type is Seaking weak to? Grass! The Grass type you're gonna use this move on is gonna live Poison Jab and probably kill you with whatever stat move they've got, especially if it's a physical move, because Seaking is slow as shit and has low defense. This Pokemon beats Bertha, Flint, and most of Byron's team, and that's it. Bro is definitely going into D tier. He's lucky the pure water typing is really good. Also, look at his sprite. Oh, I just love him. I love him so much. Just a goofy little goldfish guy. Mudman, what's good? How you been, buddy? Wishcash is alright. Its main problem is its annoying stats. It's slow but bulky and has attacking stats that doesn't even reach base 80. Usually you'd want an attacking stat of at least 85. He does have a good move pool though. With useful moves like Aqua Tail, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Zen Headbutt, it's helpful for fighting Byron, Volkner, Aaron, Bertha, and Flint. Despite being useful for a lot of trainers, I'm putting it in B tier. Wishcash's stats leave a bit to be desired. I've actually used Chimecho on one of my teams to beat this game before, and it actually wasn't that bad. But sadly, even with its decent move pool, it doesn't get a whole lot of time to shine. Shadow Ball does go stupid on Lucian's team, yes, but besides that, it only gets a win here and there. Examples are Crash Awake's Quagsire by using Grass Knot, the 7th Gym Leader's Piloswine by using Grass Knot, and lastly Bertha's team by using Grass Knot. Its base stats could be better though. Average defenses, low speed, but nice special attack. I'll put it in C tier. Not the best psychic type in the game, but it'll serve its purpose. Medicham, my boy, the pure power king. It has average speed and average defenses and a base 60 attack. I know base 60 attack sounds terrible, but with the signature ability Pure Power, its attack stat goes up to almost base 140. Any super effective physical move that Medicham uses is going to two-shot for sure. It's got great moves too, like High Jump Kick, Zen Headbutt, Rock Slide, the Elemental Punches. It's great for fighting Crash Awake, Byron, Aaron, Bertha, and that's not even all of them. This is definitely going into S tier. Okay, for the first half of the game, Bronzor and Bronzonk are mid. Bronzor's attacking stats are base 24, but after the 4th gym when it evolves and learns Gyro Ball and Zen Headbutt, it's actually really good. With the Psychic Steel type combination, it's only weak to fire and ground, and if the Bronzor you catch has the ability Levitate, it's just straight up immune to ground type moves. The other ability it might have is Heat Proof, which halves the damage from all fire type moves, basically making it so fire type moves do neutral damage instead of super effective damage. So both of Bronzor's abilities make it so it only really has one weakness, which is awesome. Imagine if it could have both abilities at the same time. Notable moves it could learn are Rock Slide, Earthquake, and Payback. Bronzor is a big help when battling the 7th gym, Lucian, Aaron if you teach it Rock Slide, and lastly Flint if you teach it Earthquake. Bronzor's speed stat is super low, but that's just fine because it's super bulky as well. I wish its attack stat was a little bit higher, but base 89 should do you just fine. It's just a Pokemon playthrough after all, not like we're in the VGC trenches.
What?
Behind you! Look!
Oh my god!
I think Bronzor is an A tier Pokemon. It can't do much for the first half of the game, but it pops off in the second half, especially with that bulk and low amount of weaknesses.
I got the horses in the bag.
Next is Rapidash. Sadly, you can't catch Ponyta until right after you beat Gardenia. Just like half the Pokemon I've gone over already, Rapidash isn't all that useful for the first half of the game, but it does shine when fighting against some late game trainers, those being the 7th Gym Leader, Aaron, Byron's Magneton, and Lucian. The only coverage moves you'll be using on this thing is Mega Horn and Bounce. It gets Poison Jab too, but that move is completely useless on a Gen 4 fire type. It's fast and has a nice base 100 attack, but has low health and a less than ideal defense stat. I'm gonna take this horse to the C tier road. Definitely not the best fire type. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Sudowoodo, my man. If my research serves me right, you can't catch Bonsly or Sudowoodo until after the 5th gym. But after you get past Awakened Byron, Sudowoodo can potentially become an amazing encounter, capable of learning moves like Sucker Punch, Brick Break, Wood Hammer, Earthquake, and the Elemental Punches. Oh my god, I never realized how goated Sudowoodo's move pool is. It could be a great help when fighting foes like Volkner, Aaron, and Flint. I'm putting it into B tier. It may have nice attack, nice defense, and an amazing move pool, but its low HP and special defense drag it down a bit. Be careful when you use this guy. Mr. Mime is yet another psychic type with good special attack, special defense, and speed, but low HP and defense. Alakazam can get away with it because it's super fast and hits super hard. Mr. Mime, on the other hand, isn't nearly as fast or hard hitting. It's basically just Alakazam at home. At least it has a good move pool like Alakazam. It has moves like Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Thunderbolt, Magical Leaf, and Grass Knot. Focus Blast will be a big help when fighting Byron and the 7th Gym Leader. Grass Knot goes stupid on Bertha, and Shadow Ball will help you beat Lucian. I'm putting it into C tier. Its low defense and non-existent HP isn't doing it any favors. It probably gets one-hit KO'd by Crunch, Shadow Claw, and any physical move it's weak to. Now we have Blissey. With an unreal HP stat of base 255 and a special defense stat of 135, Blissey is a special bulk god. As soon as you catch it, it'll have access to the greatest healing move in the game, Soft Boiled. Its special attack stat might not be that high, but it's high enough to help you against some of the foes you'll face on the journey. And that's a damn good thing too, because Blissey's move pool is astounding. Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, Grass Knot, Focus Blast, Psychic, and more. It'll have super effective moves for Byron, Wake, the 7th Gym Leader, Bertha, Lucian, and Aaron. It might have a slightly bad defense stat. But remember, this thing solos every special attacker in the game with Soft Boiled and whatever special attack you're running. I've used Blissey in the Platinum Nuzlocke before, and I gotta say, she did a great job. She unfortunately did die though. I think it was during the Mars and Jupiter tag team battle on Spirit Pillar. God rest her soul. I'm only putting it in A tier because it struggles to beat a lot of the physical attackers in the game. Oh guys, look! Another pink, slow, bulky normal type with a really good move pool. You're not gonna get any use out of Clefable until the 5th gym. And here's a little helpful tip. Don't evolve your Clefairy until level 37. That way it gets access to the move Moonlight for health recovery. Clefairy can be found holding a Moonstone if you're really lucky. So if you really wanted to, you could evolve your Clefairy as soon as you catch it. But for real though, please don't do that. Wait till level 37 for Moonlight. To tell you the truth, if you're Nuzlocking this game, Clefable is just Blissey but with good bulk all around instead of just having special bulk. They even excel at fighting the exact same important trainers. They both get great moves too, like Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, and then some. As much as I want to make the stat return goes crazy joke, Clefable and Blissey are special attackers, so I'll keep my mouth shut this time. But since Clefable is bulky in both defensive stats instead of just one, like Blissey, I'm actually putting it in S tier. It actually has a defense stat that's bigger than a Skittle and doesn't automatically lose to most of the physical attackers in the game. This Pokemon's literally only problem is speed. Everything else is perfect. You better hope your Mount Coronet encounter is a Clefairy. Chatot, the only Pokemon in the franchise that was allowed to swear. Don't catch this. The only time it might be useful is when you're fighting AA-Rod. It's a special attacking Glass Cannon flying type that doesn't learn Air Slash via level up, and its only 2 coverage moves, U-Turn and Steel Wing, are physical, so it can't do much with those moves. I'd say your best bet would be to just spam Silk Scarf boosted Hyper Beam, but it can't even learn that move. Imagine being a fully evolved normal type that can't learn Hyper Beam. Couldn't be me for real. One thing I will say is that it gets Sing, Taunt, and Feather Dance via level up, so we can lower a physical attacker's attack and then force him to keep attacking by using Taunt. You can use this to swap a Pokemon onto the field while taking as little damage as possible, and Taunt in general is always great to have. Just don't forget that this Pokemon is frail. But yeah, this is definitely going into F. Not having any good special attacking stat moves really kills this Pokemon. I do love its design though. Its music note shaped head fits perfectly for a Pokemon that loves to sing. Raichu, Raichu, Raichu. The one and only. I love you buddy, but I take these tier lists seriously, and I can't hold back. You can't even have Pikachu or Raichu until after you beat Crasher Week, sadly. The thing about Raichu is that it can serve as a physical or a special attacker due to its stat distribution. This is great because Raichu gets good physical and special moves, but if you have to go all in on one offensive stat, I'd probably recommend physical moves because it gets more physical coverage moves than special moves. Don't get me wrong, the moveset of Thunderbolt, Thunderwave, Grass Knot, and Focus Blast sounds great, but wouldn't you rather a moveset of Thunder Punch, Thunder Wave, Dig, and Brick Break? A moveset that hits more Pokemon types for super effective damage? Despite what I just said, you should definitely run Grass Knot on your Raichu for the Elite Four. Earth's Golem and Rhyperior are getting outsped and cooked by this move. Raichu gets all the moves I just went over, Iron Tail, and Quick Attack, which will make it a great help when battling Byron, the 7th Gym Leader, Volkner, and Flint. It has decent offensive stats and great speed, but sadly has low HP and defense. But despite those low stats, I personally believe that Raichu is a great Pokemon to have in your Nuzlocke. thanks to its high speed, great move pool, and access to Thunder Wave via level up. B tier for the mascot's evolution. Johto's regional bird also made it into this game somehow. You can evolve your Hoot Hoot into a Noctowl right before you fight Gardenia, but the thing is, Noctowl's only flying type move at this point is Peck. In Gen 4, Peck's base power is 35, and Noctowl's attack stat is 50. You know what that means? This means that Stab Return does more than super effective Peck. Despite that, I still think Noctowl is a great Pokemon to use when fighting Gardenia because it barely takes any damage from any of her Pokemon's moves. Noctowl is helpful for fighting Maylene too, but that's helpful in quotations. It can outspeed and probably one-shot her Meta-type with Air Slash, sure, but her Machoke is going to live that hit and respond back with super effective Rock Tomb that takes over half your health, probably outspeed you next turn due to the Rock Tomb speed drop, and kill your Owl with another Rock Tomb. There's always a chance that Rock Tomb misses, so that might not even happen to you. Oh, and don't get me started on her Lucario. The last important trainers Noctowl will help you beat is Aaron and then Lucian thanks to Shadow Ball. It also has access to some useful status moves through level up like Reflect and Hypnosis. This Pokemon has mediocre speed, low defense, and decent special attack, I guess. It makes it into C tier. I was pondering real hard about whether or not I should go over Spiritomb because most people emulate Platinum and don't have any legit way of obtaining it. So I figured I'd at least gloss over it. Spiritomb is a very slow but very bulky Dark Ghost type with access to a bunch of Dark and Ghost moves, Hypnosis, Shockwave, and Psychic. If your opponent only has one Pokemon left, Spiritomb could guarantee your victory by using Curse on them, putting said opponent on a time limit. It'll be very useful when battling Fantina, Maylene, Crash Awake, and Lucian. Also, back in Gen 4 it had no weaknesses, which was obviously very good. And the best part is that Spiritomb is a static encounter, so you can guarantee that you catch one by using repels as you run through the grass on that route, and then start the wild Spiritomb battle whenever you're ready. I'm putting it in A tier. If you want a detailed explanation on how to catch Spiritomb in Pokemon Platinum, there are multiple sites and videos that will explain the process to you. Also, the lore behind Spiritomb is that it's just 108 evil spirits bound to a rock, right? So tell me why this undead freak of nature can breed. It's in the amorphous egg group. It even gets egg moves. How is this possible? Next up is Big Bad Garchomp. Yeah, Big Sis Fang finally makes it back onto the channel. If you don't get that reference, then too bad. Watch my Platinum Nuzlocke video. I think we all know where Garchomp is going. I mean, do I really need to explain the best Pokemon in the game? And the crazy thing is, you can catch and evolve your Gibble right after the second gym in Wayward Cave. And what's even crazier is that the TM for Earthquake is down there too at the same time. Now, unfortunately, Gabite doesn't get a good ground type move until level 40, which is Dig. So you will have to use your Dig or Earthquake TM on it if you want something to beat Maylene's Lucario. And Dragon Rage goes stupid on Fantina's team since they all have low base HP stats. Gabite is also a big help when battling Byron, and Garchomp is good for beating Volkner and all of the Elite Four members except for Bertha. It gets moves like Rock Slide, Crunch, Fire Fang, and Brick Break. Fang is goated with all the sauce and is definitely going straight into the S tier. The only new dragon type introduced in Sinnoh, by the way. Now remember in the last Nuzlocke tier list video when I said that Riolu is the best encounter you will never get? Well, in Platinum, Munchlax is the best encounter you'll never get. If you really want to find out how to catch Munchlax and Snorlax, then look it up on Google. Once you fully realize how hard it is to catch, you will never look at Barry the same way again, because he somehow has one on his team. If you're lucky enough to catch Munchlax before the second gym, you can evolve it into Snorlax, as Snorlax will make a light work of Gardenia's team, especially if you teach it Stab Return, because as we all know, Stab Return goes crazy. After that, it's not much help until you get to Crash Awake and teach it Thunder Punch. It gets Brick Break for Byron at the 7th gym, Earthquake for Volkner, and it has other super effective moves for every Elite Four member. Its only bad stats are speed and defense, but that low defense is compensated for thanks to its base 160 HP. Also, it gets Yawn, which is like the best sleep-inducing move in Nuzlocke, besides Spore, of course. Snorlax is without a doubt an S-tier encounter in Pokemon Platinum. I just wish that I could catch one. Next is Unknown. Unknown is hot garbage. Its stats are trash, it can't evolve, and it only gets one move, which is Hidden Power. This isn't even a Beldum Delibird situation where it can still learn other moves thanks to move tutors. It just learns Hidden Power. Need I say more? F tier. The Aura Guardian is back again and is sadly late game. Lucario is obtainable right before the 6th gym and is great against Byron, Volkner thanks to Dig, Aaron thanks to Rock Slide, Lucian thanks to Dark Pulse, and the 7th gym leader thanks to Aura Spear. Yes, I will only be referring to her as the 7th gym leader. I'm not saying her name, I know what happens. Lucario gets other good moves too, like Psychic, Counter, Dragon Pulse, Ice Punch, and more. He's a fast mix attacker, but is a bit frail, so be on your toes. I think he should go in A tier. Here we have the first of many of the water ground types in this franchise, and just like Wishcash, Quagsire has the issue of having lower than ideal stats. It should be just good enough to help you through your Nuzlocke, but don't expect it to tank any strong special attacks like a stab psychic from an Alakazam. With moves like Earthquake, Dive, Rock Slide, Ice Punch, and Brick Break, it'll be a clutch Pokemon to use while fighting Byron, 7th Gym Leader, Volkner, and the entire Elite Four except for Lucian. If Wishcash is B tier, then I'm putting Quagsire in A tier. Quagsire gets better abilities overall, can hit harder than Wishcash, and has better stat distribution overall despite having a lower base stat total. Despite debuting in the prior generation, Pelipper made it into the Sinnoh regional decks as well, and is no longer harmed by the blessing/curse that was the era of the pre-physical special split. What I'm getting at is that Pelipper can finally make use of its special attack stat now that all flying type moves aren't considered physical attacks. I never thought I'd say this, but Pelipper is actually one of the best Pokemon to battle Crash Awake with if you teach it Shockwave. His Gyarados and Floatzel are cooked. It can also beat Byron, Steelix, and Bastiodon, Aaron's team, Bertha, and Flint. Its biggest problem though is its base stats. Most of them are either base 70 or worse. Thank God this Pokemon can learn Roost. Oh, and the most important thing about Wingull and Pelipper, they can only get Air Slash at level 47, and that's exclusive for Wingull. Pelipper does not get this as a level up move at all. You have to teach it that move as a Wingull and then evolve it. It's ridiculous, I know. If you don't care about having Air Slash for the Air fight, then by all means, evolve it the first chance you get. It still gets Air Cutter as a move to the move anyways. I'm putting it in B tier. It stays out of A because half of its stats are either 70 or lower. It got a special attack buff in Gen 7, but they should have buffed its special defense in my opinion. I honestly forget this guy exists sometimes. Not available until after the 5th gym, Girafarig is only really useful when fighting Bertha because of Grass Knot and Lucian because of Shuttle Ball. It has decent speed and special attack, but every other stat it has is mid or worse. Notable moves it can learn are Thunderbolt, Agility, and Baton Pass. So if you have a Pokemon that boosts its offensive stats with Swords Dance or Calm Mind or something, you can send out Girafarig, use Agility a few times, Baton Pass into your setup mon, boost your stats, and then sweep the opponent's team. Okay, I'm finally recording myself reading off the script. If you did not understand what I just said, I honestly don't blame you. That's my bad. I should have worded that a bit better. I've never done it before, but Baton Pass Girafarig could be clutch to have if you have a strong Pokemon that can learn the Swords Dance TM like Gliscor or Lucario. I'm still putting it in D tier though. It barely shines on its own and works best as a Baton Passer. Now, if not for Garchomp, Hippowdon would have probably been the best new ground type introduced in Generation 4. It's a slow, bulky Pokemon that can hit opponents back hard with its base 112 attack stat. It has a decent move pool as well, consisting of moves like Dig, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Crunch, and Yawn. These moves will make it a core member to almost any Nuzlocke party, and gives it a good advantage against a lot of important trainers. This is an easy A tier, and I don't blame anyone who would consider Powdon an S tier encounter. The huge powerhouse is back at it again. Like I said in the last one, if your Meryl encounter has thick fat instead of huge power, then just go find one with huge power on the same route and use that instead. People are going to say, that's cheating, but I genuinely don't give a fuck. Thick fat Azumarill is basically useless. Meryl is accessible right before the 4th gym and can be evolved right away, but it unfortunately doesn't get any good stat moves until right before the 5th gym. Now, Azumarill's stats may make it look like a slow bulky water type with bad offensive stats, but with the ability Huge Power, its attack stat goes all the way up to almost base 150, which is a higher base attack stat than goats like Garchomp, Mamoswine, and Scizor. So basically, Azumarill's only real issue is speed, but when you have great bulk and a fantastic attack stat, you're not really worried about speed. Well, it also has bad special attack, but like, dog, Azumarill gets multiple good physical moves through the game. It'll be fine. It gets Dive, Aqua Tail, Dig, Brick Break, and Ice Punch. It's helpful when fighting Byron, the 7th gym, Flint, Bertha, and I guess Aaron. It has super effective Ice Punch for his Yanmega and Vespiquen, and can potentially use Dig on his Drapion. Some people might say this is an A tier, but I'm putting it in S tier. I mean, come on guys, it's Dive Huge Power Azumarill. It's the GOAT, even if it does kind of look like an egg. Next up is Big Bad Drapion. It doesn't evolve from Skorupi until level fucking 40. And don't even bother using Skorupi for the Crash Awake fight. Oh, but once it evolves before the 6th gym, this could potentially be one of your greatest encounters of your entire Nuzlocke. It's useful for fighting every important trainer except for Bertha after you catch him. When it comes to Drapion stats, its only glaring issue is special attack, and he doesn't even use that anyway. He gets good TMs too, like Rock Slide, Dig, and Brick Break, and it even gets Toxic Spikes via level up. I was talking about Pokemon you could baton pass speed into with Girafarig. This is a good Pokemon to baton pass speed into, because Drappy gets Swords Dance thanks to the TM. He's a definite S tier. You could tell me that Toxicroak is the dark poison type and I'd believe you. It actually gets more dark type moves than it gets poison and fighting type moves via level up combined. I was gonna say Game Freak gave him the Hoenn special because of his high offensive stats and low stats and everything else, but then I saw his speed stat was base 85, so I was like, never mind. It's not available until right before the 5th gym, but you could teach it Thunder Punch, which will be super effective for that gym. Toxicroak's move pool is actually pretty good as a whole, as it gets Sucker Punch for some nice priority. Also, I just want to point out that Toxicroak gets Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, but surprisingly not Fire Punch. If you're lucky, the Toxicroak you catch will have the ability Dry Skin, which makes it completely immune to all water type attacks. Dry Skin is cracked. Despite his frailty, I can't deny that his move pool makes him a useful asset to have for many important battles. He's going into A tier. Also watch out for psychic type moves. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that we got a Venus Flytrap Pokemon. I just wish that said Venus Flytrap Pokemon was actually viable. It does have a nice base 100 attack and decent special attack, but its defense and special defense are slightly below average along with HP. And don't forget about his low base 46 speed. Bro's not even in Hoenn and he still got the Hoenn special. Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though. It only gets 2 good physical moves, Power Whip and Crunch. And it doesn't get Power Whip until level 47. Carnivine gets special attacks too, but let's be honest, nobody's using Carnivine's special attack when its physical attack is higher. Its only option for an ability is Levitate, which is cool, I guess. Carnivine is a grass type, so it already resisted ground type moves. Levitate isn't really something to bust over. Gengar with Levitate, now that's something. Carnivine shines best when fighting Crasher Wake, Bertha, and Lucian, and even then, that's a bit of a stretch. It does have the type advantage against Wake. Have fun spamming Vine Whip, by the way. But his floats will probably speed blitzes and one-shots Carnivine with Ice Fang. And Gyarados ain't even weak to grass. Half of Bertha's team probably lives from a Power Whip attack with just a sliver of health and responds with a super effective move of their own. And lastly, half of Lucian's team is either not weak to Crunch or can one-shot Carnivine before it can even breathe. Wait, do Venus Flytraps even breathe? Whatever. This is an easy D tier. They could have given him multiple other coverage moves to improve its viability like Brick Break or Rock Slide or, I don't know, Zen Headbutt? Well, at least it's unevolved, so there's a chance it could get a cross-gen evolution in the future. If that happens, I called it. Fun fact, Octillery's design is supposedly based off of a tank. Lots of people swear they see the resemblance, but me? I must be legally blind or something because I swear I just see a red octopus. Octillery is yet another encounter that isn't available until you're over halfway through the journey, but even so, I'd argue it's very useful for a Pokemon Nuzlocke. It may be slow, but it has a decent base 105 special attack, decent defenses, and an amazing move pool that'll make heads turn. Name another water type that learns Flamethrower and Psychic. You're not even in this game, get out of here. As long as your opponent doesn't have a super effective move against it, Octillery can probably clutch it out with one of its various special attacks. I'm putting it into A tier. Remember when I had to begrudgingly shit on my boy Seaking earlier? Well, Lumineon is about to undergo a very similar treatment. Base 69 special attack? Seriously? The only reason it's not the worst water type in the game is because they decided to bring Seaking back for some reason. Lumini is definitely the worst Gen 4 water type, and it's not even close. It only gets Surf and Ice Beam, so it can help beat most of Byron's team, Bertha, and Flint. It can U-turn as well, but don't let me find out you wasted your only U-turn TM on a Lumineon. I'ma find you. Go buy some calcium items at the Veilstone department store and use them on your Lumineon before you take it to the Elite Four. You'd be doing yourself quite the favor. I'll put it with Seaking in D tier. Yay, Tortellini's back! I swear I'm not going to make a habit of shamelessly plugging my past videos, but please go watch it, please go watch it, please go watch it. It only has 84 views, please go watch it. Tortellini was popping off in that video. Tentacruel is a speedy special defense take that can be quite handy in Nuzlocke if you know how to play optimally. What really gets me though is its 80 base special attack. Like, come on man, only base 80? I mean, that's workable, but I still wish it was a bit higher, you know? Also, it only has one coverage move, which is obviously Ice Beam. It still gets good status moves like Toxic Spike, Screech, and can even fix its low defense issue by using Barrier. Oh yeah, Tentacruel's defense is only base 65, so be cautious. Some people might consider Tentacruel as an A tier encounter, but I'm thinking B tier thanks to its poison typing. Tentacruel is also weak to ground type moves. A water type that's weak to ground type moves does not sound all too great. Still better than Lumineon though. Next up is Milotic. When it comes to ideal base stats for pure water type Pokemon, it doesn't get much better than Milotic. Well, maybe unless you want to count huge power Azumarill. It has amazing bulk, great special attack, and decent speed. In fact, Milotic's only real problem is its lack of coverage moves. It's only stuck with Ice Beam and Dragon Pulse, the latter of which you'll probably never use. On the plus side, it gets Recover as a level up move, which is amazing. Milotic should have no problem taking down most of the route trainers in Platinum. As long as your opponent doesn't have a stab super effective move, Milotic can probably just spam Surf and Recover to win. It has just the right stats to pull it off. In fact, if I remember correctly, in the Hoenn anime, we see a gym leader do exactly this. This dude was spamming Recover for like half the match. I was like, bro, come on, use an actual move. Its special defense is base 125, so you can definitely pull something like that off in game. This is S tier, which rounds out the 3 best water types in the game: Azumarill, Milotic, and Gastrodon. Mantine is not available until after you've obtained all the gym badges. Yeah, Mantine kinda got the short end of the stick in Generation 4, and didn't have access to Air Slash yet. You were stuck using Air Cutter, and its HP stat was still base 65, and its only coverage moves were Ice Beam and Signal Beam. But despite all that crap, Mantine can be very useful for every battle in the Elite Four. Mantine has a super effective move for at least 2 Pokemon on every Elite Four member's team, and can even take down Cynthia's Roserade. So if it's technically useful for every important trainer after you catch it, that means it automatically goes into A tier, am I wrong? The whole point of this video is to determine how valuable each of these Pokemon are for a Platinum Nuzlocke, and Mantine is technically viable for these last 5 battles. I'm not going to put it into S tier though, because 1, that sounds ridiculous, and 2, Mantine still has very low base HP and low defense, which is obviously a hindrance. Y'all might not like that Mantine made it into the A tier because of a technicality, but hey, facts are facts. Also, shoutouts to Mantine for making it into the A tier spot in this video and the Black 2 White 2 Nuzlocke tier list video. Let's see if we can do the same in the Heart Gold Soul Silver Nuzlocke video, if I can ever be bothered to make it. Okay, thank Christ, we're done with all those water types. You could say I was drowning in all of those water type encounters. No? Just me? Okay. Alrighty, Abomasnow. People know Abomasnow for having one of the worst type combinations in the game. And yeah, you know what? They're probably right. Also, screw everybody that made me think Abomasnow had bad stats. Everyone always said Abomasnow was a bad Pokemon, and he is, but his base stats are actually quite good. Literally all of his stats are decent except for speed, which is actually pretty bad when you think about it because it has so many weaknesses. You can't be super viable when you only have base 60 speed and 7 weaknesses. I checked every gym leader and Elite Four member you battle after Abomasnow is accessible. Every single one of them has multiple Pokemon with multiple moves super effective on Abomasnow. It's that bad. The 7th gym is the only gym where it can beat other Pokemon without constantly worrying about being hit by super effective moves. It's probably good at beating some route trainers though. Obama is an F tier in my opinion. Is it weird to you guys to see Wormadam higher up than Abomasnow? This feels weird to me. At least the Wormadam forms get better typings. Now we've got my GOAT Weavile, one of the only 3 fast hyper-offensive ice types in the whole franchise. I'm not kidding, it's literally Weavile, Galar Darmanitan, Iron Bundle, that's it. And the latter 2 are just variants of pre-existing Pokemon. Weavile has low defense, but can still destroy a lot of NPCs by using Swords Dance and then spamming Ice Punch or whatever Dark Stab it has. Sadly, its best physical Dark type move of this generation is Night Slash, which is only 70 base power. At least it has a great move pool with moves like X-Scissor, Iron Tail, Brick Break, Swords Dance, and Dig. Weavile's great moveset makes it a great Pokemon to have when battling Bogner, Bertha, Lucian, and Cynthia. Since Weavile helps you beat 4 out of the 6 important trainers left in the game after it evolves from a Sneasel, not including Berry, I'll put it in B tier. Even ghosts like Weavile can still struggle when they're at a type disadvantage. Damn, putting Weavile under Ambipom is definitely gonna put me in some hot water, but I'm sure it'll be alright though. Of all the gimmicky Pokemon Game Freak has made over the years, this one's probably my favorite one right alongside Meloetta. This is actually obtainable after you beat Gardenia and get the HM cut. If you go into Eternal Forest's old chateau at night and interact with the building's TV, a Rotom will pop out and battle you. This was actually a post-game thing in Diamond and Pearl, but was actually quite generous when it came to Platinum. It's fast and has good special attack and defenses, but unfortunately has a very low base 50 HP stat. And its low points don't stop there, because Rotom basically has no coverage moves. So your Rotom's final move set is going to be Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and I don't know, Reflecting Light Screen. That's all it really gets that's viable. I was really surprised when I saw it doesn't learn Psychic. I was like, what? Most ghost types get that move. Rotom is at its best when fighting Maylene, Lucian, and Crash Awake's Gyarados. Yeah, there's only so much you can do when you can only hit a few types super effectively. And it can't even use Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp because they're post-game TMs. I'll be generous and put it in C tier. Oh, and in case you were wondering why I didn't talk about the Rotom forms, those are basically event exclusives, so cry harder. Another one of my Sinnoh favorites, Gliscor, doesn't get a flying type move until right before the 5th gym, which is the TM Aerial Ace, and the only ground type move it gets via level up is Sand Attack. I hope you enjoy wasting one of your ground type TMs on him. Ignoring how badly they handled Gliscor's level up moveset, which is really badly, this is debatably the best flying type in the game. I'd say the best ground type in the game, but yeah, no. I've never seen a Gen 4 Pokemon with stats distributed so perfectly before. Ignoring Garchomp and Milotic, I almost thought this was a pseudo-legendary for some reason. Literally, its only bad stat is special attack and it'll never be using that anyways. With useful moves like Egg Scissor, Ice Fang, Rock Slide, and Swords Dance, Gliscor could easily become the MVP of your Nuzlocke. As long as he's not at a direct type disadvantage against the Gym Leader, Gliscor will find some way to be helpful. I've been mentioning Gliscor multiple times throughout this video, and that's because he's just that guy for real. Also, I just think his design is really fucking cool. I really wish he could learn Fly though, but regardless, he's an S tier. You can evolve Nosepass in the Probopass as soon as you get to Mount Coronet. And where is Nosepass exclusively found? That's right, Mount Coronet. And Nosepass's level up moves are almost the exact same as Probopass's, so there's no reason to delay Nosepass's evolution. I honestly don't know what they were thinking with these two. They said, let's put Nosepass at Mount Coronet so it instantly evolves as you catch it. It's meant to be a slow, bulky, special attacking steel type, but it doesn't learn Mirror Shot or Flash Cannon naturally. You have to wait until after you clap Byron's cheeks to use the TM Flash Cannon. It does surprisingly get Power Gem, at level fucking 49 anyways. You're stuck with Rock Slide until then. No access to Ancient Power until the post game, and its only coverage move is, of course, Thunderbolt, because of its whole Compass Magnetism gimmick. Also, these big-nosed buffoons get Thunder Wave as a level up move. Thunder Wave! There are other electric types that are starving for this move, like Electivire, Luxray, and Rotom, but no! Let's give it to the ugly blue fuckers that always point north. Probo beats the 7th gym, Aaron, and Flint. That's it. It's not even remotely usable until it gets Flash Cannon. It's a niche late game pick, but I'm putting it in D tier. Next up are the Kirlia evolutions, those being Gardevoir and Gallade. We'll start with Gardevoir. Kirlia doesn't shine all too well in the first half of the game, seeing how Fantina's whole team is Ghost type, and only one of Maylene's fighting types is weak to Psychic. Oh, but after Maylene, it's all uphill from there. It gets Thunderbolt for Crash Awake, Magical Leaf for Bertha, Focus Blast for Byron and the 7th Gym Leader, and Shadow Ball for Lucian. Its only bad stats are HP and defense, so be on your guard for strong physical attackers. Gardevoir is an obvious A tier. Right before you battle Crash Awake, you can find a Dawnstone and evolve Kirlia into Gallade, and teach it Thunder Punch or Leaf Blade. Wake is getting cooked by this mon. It can also learn Brick Break for Byron and the 7th Gym, of course, Earthquake for Voltner and Flint for some reason, Fire Punch for Aaron, Leaf Blade for Bertha, and Night Slash for Lucian. That's literally every important trainer after it fully evolves. Like Mantine, even with low base HP and defense, I still think putting it in S tier is justified seeing how it only has 2 weaknesses. Now my boy Licky Licky isn't nearly as bad as people think it is. Look at all these TMs and move tutor moves it could learn, oh my god! Earthquake, Iron Tail, Brick Break, Thunder Punch, Zen Headbutt, this guy isn't just eating good, he's devouring. His only 2 downsides are 1, its low base 50 speed stat, and 2, it doesn't evolve until Lickitung until after the 4th gym. But after Maylene, you'll be smooth sailing. It's super bulky, and has a nice base 85 attack. You better jump for joy if you get Lickitung as your encounter on Route 215, whether you hate its design or not. I'm so glad I decided to make this tier list because it made me realize how good Licky Licky is for a Platinum Nuzlocke, my favorite game of all time. But yeah, Licky Licky in S tier, it's not even close. B-Barrel and Lopunny wish they were this good. Next up is, oh my god, I have to go over all the evolutions again. Well, before I start on them, just remember that they all get Shadow Ball because Eevee gets Shadow Ball, and I'm not saying that 7 times over. let's just get this over with. Hey guys, did you know that in terms of Pokemon Nuzlocke battling, Vaporeon just might be the best evolution? As for when you can evolve Eevee into Vaporeon, Jolteon, or Flareon, you can get their respective evolution stone from the Solaceon ruins. Yes, all 3 stones are hidden in there somewhere. I looked it up. Vaporeon doesn't get its first water type move until right before you battle Crash Awake, thanks to how poorly they planned out all the evolutions level up movesets. The move of subject being Water Gun. You have to go to Pastoria City's move reminder and learn Water Gun that way. It can also learn the TM you get from Crash Awake, which is Brine, but that's neither here nor there. Since it's a water type, it obviously gets Ice Beam too, but in terms of stats, Game Freak treated Vaporeon surprisingly well. Yes, it has base 60 defense, but it also has base 130 HP, and base 110 special attack is nothing to scoff at either. Its only real concern is its base 65 speed, but when you're this bulky, speed isn't something to really worry about most of the time. Despite having the fabled pure water typing, Vaporeon only does great against Bertha and Flint. Well, okay, it does well against most of Byron's team and half of the 7th Gym Leader's team thanks to Frostlass being weak to Shadow Ball. I know most of Lucian's team is weak to Shadow Ball, but most of those guys not only have a Grass or Electric move, but are also faster than Vaporeon. I honestly think Milotic is overall a better water type than Vaporeon, despite the fact that it has less coverage moves. At least Milotic can outlast opponents thanks to the move Recover. Regardless, I think that with Vaporeon's stat distribution and typing, it still belongs in at least A tier. Bulky waters are love, bulky waters are life. Now people always see Jolteon and always put it in the S tier or A tier slot, simply because it's a really fast electric type that gets Thunderbolt and has a high special attack. I usually think that maintaining the agenda is our top priority, but I'm done pretending. Jolteon is B tier. It's literally just Rotom but without the ghost typing. Your Rotom moveset is going to be Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and Light Screen, right? Oh, well look at that. Guess who's using the same 3 moves? Except Jolteon actually gets Thunder Wave. So it's basically just Rotom but better in almost every way. And everything I said about the important trainers that Rotom can beat also applies to Jolteon too. Even though it doesn't have the ghost typing, Jolteon is still a good pick for battling Maylene because it can most likely 2-hit KO her whole team with Stab Thunderbolt, and it doesn't help that Jolteon's HP and defense are low as shit. I meant it when I said Jolteon is going in B tier. This thing is a little overrated. Ah crap, and now I gotta shit on my boy Flareon. Time to rip this band-aid off quick. Despite having an attack stat of base 130, Flareon's only physical fire type move is Fire Fang, and that's only at level 40-3. You'll have to use Flamethrower until then. And I swear they were just throwing darts at a dartboard to decide how they were going to distribute his base stat points. No speed, but super high attack and special defense? What were they cooking? Its only 2 coverage moves are Dig and Iron Tail, but let's be honest, you're never using Iron Tail on this guy. For the first half of the game, Flareon is complete shit. I hate to say that about one of my favorite fire types, but it's true. With the moveset of Fire Fang, Dig, and Shadow Ball, Flareon can cook surprisingly hard in the late game. In fact, every important trainer after Byron is getting cooked by this move pool, except for Bertha, obviously. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm putting Flareon in B tier. I thought he was gonna go in C or D, but no. I guess every dog has its day. Unless that dog's name is Abomasnow.
What do you say fuck me for?
Espeon is yet another speedy special attacker on this list, and it also learns the Grass Knot TM for some reason. When they made Espeon stats, I'm pretty sure they said, hey, let's give it Jolteon stats, but swap the special attack stat and speed stat with each other. Great idea. I'm sure nobody will ever notice. You ain't slick, Game Freak. I'm watching you. So yeah, bad HP, bad defense, good everything else. Wow, there's a lot of Pokemon in this dex with low HP and defense. When you take into account that Espeon is also a great Reflect user thanks to its high speed, I think Espeon sits just fine in A tier. It does well against a lot of important trainers too. I'm not gonna lie to you, unless you put a bunch of effort values in Umbreon's attack stat, it's not worth your time. The best thing about Umbreon is that you can guarantee that you won't get one. Defensive stats like these with no access to recovery moves is a recipe for disaster. If you do improve its attack, you could run a moveset of Payback, Dig, Iron Tail, and Quick Attack. These moves will do good against Byron, the 7th Gym Leader, Volkner, Flint, and Aaron. This technically makes Umbreon an A tier encounter due to how useful it can be against important trainers. But I know you guys aren't going to grind money in this game just to buy protein items, so your Umbreon can have an attack stat. Good thing this is my Nuzlocke tier list video and not yours. But just so you know, if you don't do this, your Umbreon is basically worthless. Oh, and since Toxic is somehow not post-game, even though Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp are, you can Toxic Protect Stall with Umbreon too. Despite me putting it in A tier, I still believe your best course of action would be to not pick Umbreon at all. You only get one Eevee, so it's best to evolve it into something that doesn't take hours of grinding for EVs, like Espeon, Jolteon, or Vaporeon. Hey, Leafeon and Glaceon aren't post-game for once. Starting with Leafeon, it's a physical attacking grass type that's stuck with Razor Leaf for the whole journey, but is somehow saved by its decent move pool. It learns Dig for Byron's gym, and has X-Scissor and Aerial Ace for Lucian's team. Just remember to pick up a Miracle Seed to boost Razor Leaf's pitiful base power. It barely makes it into the B tier spot. Just remember that Leafeon has low HP and low special defense. Unless you just really need a grass type, never evolve your Eevee into Leafeon in Pokemon Platinum. I'll smack the goofy out of you if you do. And the last but not least evolution is Glaceon, who you can't even obtain until right before the 7th gym. And even then, it's only got one coverage move, which is Shadow Ball. This thing only has the type advantage against Bertha and Lucian. If you evolve your Eevee into Glaceon, then you're dumber than a bag of rocks sitting on the side of the ocean. And I'm not just saying that because it's barely useful, I'm saying that because you're guaranteed at least 2 ice types before you can evolve Eevee into Glaceon anyways. One of those said ice types might end up being a Snover, which evolves into Abomasnow sadly, but I'm sure the other ice type you get will be much more viable. But yeah, don't evolve your Eevee into Glaceon. B tier at best. Next, the only other dragon type in this game, Altaria, is yet another Pokemon that doesn't shine until the late game. You guys thought Gligar had a bad level up moveset. Well, Swablu and Altaria's level up moveset give Gligar a run for his money. All of your best offensive moves will be learned via TMs, which unfortunately includes Earthquake. I don't blame you at all if you don't want to use your one Earthquake TM on an Altaria. I know that might sound a bit bizarre. The other decent TM it gets is Steel Wing. You can technically use Altaria as a mixed attacker since its attack and special attack are the same at base 70, but a physical set Altaria is much better than a special set in my opinion. And whether or not you choose to run physical or special moves, you're going to want some EVs in your attack/special attack because they're only a meager base 70 and doesn't even reach base 80. At least it has decent speed and great defenses. It only excels at battling Byron, Volkner, Aaron, and Flint. I was gonna put it in C tier, but then I remembered it gets Dragon Dance and that it's basically only weak to Ice and Rock. It's weak to Dragon too, but you're rarely gonna see any NPCs use any Dragon type moves. So it's going into B tier. Next up is... Oh shit, I get to Glaze, my favorite Pokemon of all time. Let's fucking go! I love Togekiss so much, he's the GOAT. He's gonna get S tier. Picky Pickerson. Who's gotta go Moki? Big Toe Edge, my guy. Sorry, got a little excited there. And yes, that was necessary. The stats, so peak. The design, so perfect. The move pool, so goated. Chances of encountering it, guaranteed because a Togepi egg is literally given to you by Cynthia herself after the 2nd gym. My headcanon is that Cynthia's Togekiss cracked a Ditto when Cynthia wasn't looking, so now Cynthia has a Togepi egg she doesn't want, so she gives it to Lucas/Dawn in the game. That's obviously not why she has the Togepi egg, but it'd be really funny if it was. Besides Garchomp, this is literally the greatest Nuzlocke encounter of all time. Hold on, that's for me. Hello? What's that? You can't evolve Togetic into Togekiss until right before the 6th gym. And it has a massive type disadvantage against the last 3 gym leaders. Oh. Well, it still goes stupid in the Elite Four. And has a super effective move for the 4 main types that the Elite Four uses. And it can help out against Cynthia's team too. As much as I want to ignore how it's not that helpful for beating the gym leaders, I can't. So Togekiss sadly won't be getting an S tier. But, all jokes aside, it can still go into A tier because it wrecks house on the entire Pokemon League. Also, look at Togekiss's stats. It goes crazy on Route Trainers and Team Galactic. And you know how annoying Team Galactic is. Uh-oh, my hand is slipping. Whoops. Sorry about that. That was weird. Anyways, now on to Houndoom. It's a special attacking Dark type that doesn't get Dark Pulse until Victory Road. You're stuck with Bite and Faint Attack until then. And it only gets one coverage move, which is, get this, Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb on a fire type. For those of you who don't understand why this is ridiculous, poison type moves were only super effective on grass types back in Gen 4, right? Well, fire is super effective on grass and more. So that move is pretty much worthless. On the bright side, Houndoom only has one bad stat, which is unfortunately defense. Watch out for earthquakes. Houndoom does great while fighting the 7th gym leader, Aaron, Lucian, and I guess Byron. We could put Dark type Arcanine in B tier. Now here's the real best electric type in Platinum. Here's the real agenda we should be spreading. Maintaining the agenda is our top priority. I swear if it weren't for Flint and Bertha, all the Sinnoh players will be glazing Magnezone. He has the typing and stats to be one of the best Nuzlocke encounters in the game, but gets holed by the types they chose for the gym leaders and Elite Four users, just like Golem. Magnezone resists 13 types in Gen 4. 13 types? That's no joke. The only important trainer that Magnezone has the type advantage against is the 7th gym leader, and still resists the main types of moves used by Volkner, Aaron, and Lucian. I know Electric resists Electric, but at least Magnezone can use Tri-Attack thanks to evolving from Magneton and damage them that way. And Magnezone is eating good when it comes to base stats. It's another one of those Pokemon where its only real issue is speed, and every other stat is good, especially with that base 130 special attack. You're gonna have fun with that, especially when you get the Flash Cannon TM from Byron. Just trust me when I say that Magnezone is an A tier electric type encounter and would be S tier if not for Byron, Flint, and Bertha. A great Marsh exclusive, Tangrowth, is a pure grass type that breaks the status quo. And by that I mean, most pure grass types before Generation 6 have terrible move coverage and can't learn a whole lot of good TMs. But Tangrowth can learn a whole bunch. Poison Jab, Earthquake, Payback, the list goes on. All it's missing is Leech Seed, and it'd be the best grass type in the game. Well, probably not better than my boy Torterra, but Tangrowth is definitely second. Sadly, Tangrowth is not a good pick to battle Volkner, because almost all of his Pokemon have super effective moves against grass types. In fact, most grass types aren't helpful for this gym despite resisting electric type moves. Funny how that works out. But there are still multiple important trainers that Tangrowth is great at battling. The only major issues Tangrowth has is in its speed and special defense, which are both base 50. I promise this Pokemon can cook if you just give it some EVs and special defense. I mean, just look at the rest of its stats. They're all like base 100, which is good, right? Right. I think it belongs in B tier. If only the Assault Vest was in Gen 4. Now we got Mega Yanma, which is another great Marsh exclusive and another Ancient Power evolution, like Tangrowth. And both Tangela and Yanma learn Ancient Power at the same level despite having almost nothing to do with each other. What was Game Freak thinking with these two? Maybe Tangrowth and Yanmega were just the bestest of friends way back in ancient times.
If I even had 1 minute, just 1 minute with no interruptions.
Kakarot, I've got it covered. Your minute, I've got it covered. Get the rest that you need.
But Vegeta, you could die.
If I can't last 1 lousy minute, then perhaps I deserve to die.
Hey, that's not true.
60 seconds, Kakarot.
They certainly aren't the best friends when it comes to Nuzlocke viability because Yanmega is nowhere near as good as Tangrowth. For starters, Yanmega does not learn its first good stat move, Air Slash, until level 54. And then Bug Buzz is right after that at level 57. What the fuck were they thinking? Why even make it a mid-game encounter if it doesn't learn good moves until the end of the game? This is just disrespectful. Sure, Yanmega can learn some goated TMs like Psychic and Shadow Ball, but those moves do not save it at all. And the stats don't really matter when you only get 2 TM moves you'll barely use. I'm putting it in F. I'm sorry, buddy. Don't worry, they do Yanmega some great justice when it comes to X and Y. You'll understand when I make the X and Y Nuzlocke tier list. If I make it. Okay, now I know Tropius is a fan favorite, but it needs to be said. Tropius is not that good. It has really great bulk, but a pitiful base 72 special attack. It's only got 3 good moves, Giga Drain, Air Slash, and Silver Wind. Probably the only Pokemon I'd tell you to run the move Silver Wind on. Also, Tropius doesn't learn Air Slash until after the 7th gym. He can learn Earthquake, but don't do some dumb shit like teach Earthquake to your Tropius. You'll lose Aura if you do that. Tropius ain't even a physical attacker. Tropius isn't that great because it's barely any help when battling the gym leaders. I know I said a very similar thing about Togekiss, but look at Togekiss's stats, man. This is an absolute unit. Tropius wishes it had stats like these. I know it's still helpful for fighting at least 4 characters, but I'm still putting it in D tier. Why? Because you're only taking this thing out of the PC twice. Once to battle Crash Awake, and once to battle the Pokemon League. Meanwhile, if you had other flying types like Staraptor or Gliscor, you'd be taking those guys out of the PC all the time because 1, their stats aren't mid, and 2, they actually get good flying stat before the late game. Being stuck with Air Cutter for the majority of the game sucks. It's only 55 base power. I know Gliscor's best move, Aerial Ace, is only 60 base power, but Air Cutter? Seriously? Next is Rhyperior. Rhyhorn doesn't evolve until after the 6th gym and is getting outsped and one-shot by every special attacker that isn't an electric type. But on the bright side, when it evolves into Rhydon finally, it can immediately evolve again into Rhyperior if you trade it with the Protector item from Iron Island. Even after evolving twice, Rhyperior's stats is still low, only base 55. At least its HP, attack, and defense are all base 115 or higher. And its move pool is goated with attacks like Hammer Arm, Payback, and the Elemental Punches. Because it's stuck as a Rhyhorn with a low base stat total for half of the time you're able to use it, I can't give Rhyperior a high tier list placement, especially since it doesn't do too well against Byron and the 7th gym leader. Yeah, Rhyperior's typing gives it both the type advantage and the disadvantage against Steel and Ice types. It's because Ground doesn't resist Steel and Rock doesn't resist Ice, even though they should in my opinion. At least it does a great job fighting Bogner and most of the Elite Four. Also, it probably goes stupid on a bunch of route trainers. If Golem isn't B tier, then I'm putting Rhyperior in C personally. I know Rhyperior stats is literally just Golem stats but a bit better, but the Graveler line is available much early and evolved much quicker than the Rhyhorn line. You don't have to wait nearly as long for the Pokemon to get good when you use them. Dusknoir, my boy, what's good? Sheesh. Now, Duskull might not be that good, but Dusclops and Dusknoir? Hoo boy, you'll be glad you caught them. You can evolve Duskull into Dusclops before you battle Crash Awaken. Its move pool will evolve as well. It's got Thunder Punch, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and a bunch more moves. It's helpful for every important trainer after you catch it. After you beat the 7th gym leader and gain access to Rock Climb, make sure the very next thing you do is get the Reaper Cloth and evolve Dusclops into Dusknoir. That way you won't be stuck with Dusclops' meager base 70 attack, and you'll be really cooking. He's so S tier that it's insane. I'm just gonna put him up there already. Wow, seeing Dusknoir over Weavile definitely feels weird. Look, I know the S tier is getting kinda cramped, but they're not up there for no reason. These guys are the GOATs. Trust. Now some of you might be wondering why I have both Porygon 2 and Porygon Z on this list. Yeah, that's right. I said Z, not Z. I said it the right way. I'm an American. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's sometimes debated between hardcore Pokemon fans about which Porygon evolution is the best, Porygon 2 or Porygon Z. Let's go over 2 first. 2 is the more defensive-based evolution with a great base 90 defense and 95 base special defense. Its special attack is a respectable base 105, but its speed is a poor base 60. It doesn't get its only good stat move, Tri Attack, until you beat the last gym leader, but honestly 2 doesn't need to worry about stat moves when its move pool is this good. Signal Beam, Ice Beam, Psychic, Sweet Granola. And to top it all off, this bulky Pokemon actually gets Recover, and at an early level too. So as long as your opponent doesn't have a super effective move on Porygon 2 or can boost their stats, you can probably just Recover Stall and win. This is an S tier pick. But with Z, however, things are different. Z is much more offensive based with its stats and has a tremendous base 135 special attack and a good 90 base speed, with the downside of having only 70 base defense and 75 base special defense. And the best part about the Porygons in this game is that it's a gift Pokemon, so if you didn't get one of the 2 abilities that you wanted, you can just soft reset to before you were gifted the Pokemon and try again for the other ability. In Porygon's case, you want Trace because it turns into adaptability when it evolves into Porygon Z. Now the Porygon Z Glazers think that I'm about to say adaptability Tri-Attack destroys the game, but I'm not going to, because like I just explained, these guys don't get Tri-Attack until level 51 sadly. Adaptability Tri-Attack does go stupid on the Pokemon League though, especially if you teach Z Nasty Plot. Game Freak giving Porygon Z Nasty Plot as a level up move was devious. I still can't believe they did that. I'm also gonna put Z in S tier as well. But to answer the question, which one is better for a Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke? My answer is Porygon 2. Now hear me out. I know Z can set up with Nasty Plot and just squad wipe an NPC's whole team with Tri-Attack or Thunderbolt or whatever, but it's important to remember that Z's defenses are in the base 70s, which is kinda mid, and there's multiple Pokemon in the decks that can outspeed it, hit it hard, and maybe even kill it with a critical hit, even with all the special attack boosts. Examples are Staraptor, Alakazam, and the boy Crobat. Meanwhile, if you're using Porygon 2, you're much less likely to die from a critical hit, and can still make it by with its base 105 special attack. Porygon 2 can squad wipe NPCs too, it'll just take a lot longer with that base 60 speed. You could forget about sweeping teams with Porygon 2 if one of the enemy's Pokemon has a good fighting type move though. But yeah, sorry, 2 is better than Z when it comes to Nuzlockes. The facts are the facts. Also, Porygon Z can even sweep Cynthia's team. I know for a fact it can because I've done it before off channel.
That was almost too easy.
Now some of you might be wondering why both Scyther and Scizor is on this list. Well, seeing how Scyther and Scizor both have the same base stat total despite one evolving from the other, I figured I'd give Scyther a spot on the tier list seeing how he's fast and has respectable stats. And speaking of Scyther, oh man. Hey Scyther, you know we're homies, right?
Of course, buddy. We've been homies since the X and Y days.
Then you'll understand that I wouldn't do this unless I didn't have a choice.
Wait, what are you talking about? What are you gonna do with that?
I'm sorry, buddy.
You're gonna old yeller me? Wait!
Yeah, Scyther's actually MIDI as fuck in this game. And you know why? It's because of his fuck-ass bug flying typing. The saddest part is that Scyther has quite literally one of the most ideal stats for a Nuzlocke. Fast, strong, and a decent bulk. He even gets some good coverage moves too, like Brick Break and Steel Wing. That unfortunately doesn't save Scyther though. He only has the type advantage against two trainers, Maylene and Lucian. And it's surprisingly not that great against Aaron either because every mon on his team has a super effective move against Scyther, except for funnily enough, his Scizor. The only Pokemon on Aaron's team that's free eats for Scyther is Heracross. It's going into D tier. I'm so sorry, my guy. We'll get him next time, Scyther fans. Oh shit, seeing Wormadam over Scyther just might be the craziest part of this list. At least that Wormadam form has a good typing. Once you catch Scyther, you can immediately evolve it from Scizor if you trade it while holding the Metal Coat item. You can get Metal Coats from a Wild Bronzor in Wayward Cave. This is one of the best Nuzlocke encounters of all time. As long as the ops don't have a fire type move, Scizor will cook. And that's thanks to its amazing stats, great move pool, and fantastic bug steal typing. And if you teach this thing Roost, it just never dies. If you give this a moveset of like Steel Wing, Egg Scissor, Brick Break, and Roost, it's soloing most of the competition. Its only issue is its base 65 speed, but speed isn't much of an issue when you have great bulk, can heal back up, and have a base 130 attack. This is a Giga S tier. If you Nuzlocke this game and get a Scyther as an encounter, evolve it. Scyther is shit compared to Scizor. No offense, Scyther. Electivire, what's good, my homie? Good to see you again. You unfortunately can't catch Electabuzz until you clap Giratina's cheeks in the main story, which isn't until after you beat the 7th gym leader. And the funny thing is, the Electabuzz you catch has a 5% chance to already be holding the item you need to evolve it, the Electrizer. It may be a late game encounter, but in the late game, it's very good. It can run Earthquake for Vogner and Flint, Fire Punch for Aaron, and take out one or two of Cynthia's Pokemon. It has great speed, offenses, and special bulk. Some people might say B tier, but I think it belongs in A tier. And no, I'm not just saying that because it's one of my favorite electric types. He's actually just a menace on the battlefield when it comes to Nuzlockes in the late game. Its fire type counterpart, Magmortar, is available much earlier though, and also has a 5% chance to already be holding the item you need to evolve it. Just like Electivire, Magmortar is also a great encounter for your Nuzlocke. It gets Thunderbolt and Psychic for some nice type variety, and does good against a lot of important trainers. The only real issue it has is its base 67 defense, but just watch out for Earthquakes and Stone Edges and you'll be just fine. Haha, Edge. Okay, but this is an A tier encounter though. You'd better hope your Fuego Ironworks encounter is a Magmar, because it's the only place in the game where you can catch it. Big Mamo was up next, and just like in Black 2 White 2, its best Ice stat move is still Ice Fang. At least you won't have to waste any of your ground type TMs on it because it gets Earthquake via level up. It unfortunately has Rock Slide for its only coverage move, but it can still prove itself useful. It has the type advantage against Volkner, does well against Aaron and Bertha, but does not do well against Flint. Mamoswine's ice typing makes it weak to fire moves, and almost all of Flint's fire types can outspeed it. Most of Lucian's team can outspeed Mamo and hit it for super effective damage too. I hate to do this to him again, but I'm putting Mamoswine in B tier. Man, it really does suck to have a lot of weaknesses and low special defense. Glalie, the face Pokemon, is trash. Being a pure ice type is not good at all. You gain access to Glalie after the 6th gym, correct? I checked all the remaining gym leaders and Elite Four members teams, and almost all of them have a bunch of moves that are super effective against Glalie. Even Bertha is cooking Glalie up, despite her type disadvantage. It has a great time battling most of Aaron's team, that's about it. And it doesn't help that all of Glalie's stats are base 80, just like Fiona. Bet you didn't know that, huh? I bet you didn't know that Glalie's going into F tier with the other shitty late game ice type.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Now it's time for Glalie's girlfriend, Miss I Got a Well-Deserved Mega in Legends ZA, Frostlass. The added ghost typing really comes in handy at times, and despite having even more weaknesses than Glalie, Frostlass is somehow the more useful one of the two. Wow, Glalie, even your girl is a better Nuzlocke Pokemon than you. That sounds like an issue involving skill. I can't relate to that. Although Frostlass does just as well against air and Asglealy, with some investment in Frostlass's special attack and defense, it's just fast enough to do well against Bertha and has stabbed Shadow Ball for Lucian's team. Glalie gets Shadow Ball too, but he works better as a physical attacker, in my opinion, because of his access to Crunch and Earthquake. Frostlass also gets Thunderbolt and Psychic, like Magmortar funnily enough, but you won't get too many chances to exploit those moves in the Elite Four. She's a decent C-tier mon. Not too bad, but not too good either. Last and least, we got Absol. Yes, it has a base 130 attack. Yes, it has access to the disgusting combination of Sucker Punch and Swords Dance, but it's still trashy trash though. Hell, it probably won't even get the chance to spam Swords Dance and Sucker Punch. Base 65 HP and base 60 defenses? On God, no cap? And only base 75 speed too? Just hang up the jersey, bro. just hang it up. I want to make another Hoenn special joke, but I should save those for the actual Hoenn Nuzlocke tier list. The only trainer I see getting smashed by Absol is Lucian. If it weren't for his megas, I'd suggest Game Freak giving him an evolution that fixes his lack of special bulk. But it's too late for that now. In modern day, base Absol is ass, and always will be ass. Hate to end it on another low note, but that's just how it goes sometimes. And that's all for this video's tier list. I know I'm gonna have some disagreements with some of my tier list placements, but opinions are opinions. I'm glad I got another region off the board. I know I've been glazing this game a lot, but if you haven't tried Nuzlocking Platinum, I highly suggest doing so. It's fun and even challenging at times. And get used to me yapping about Golem, Alakazam, Golduck, Seekig, and Crobat because they're gonna appear in at least 3 more Nuzlocke tier lists. Don't know why Game Freak keeps insisting on putting them in so many regional dexes. Meanwhile, Perugli's only been in 1 regional dex, which is obviously Sinnoh. I think the devs might just hate Perugly. Also, I didn't bring up Glameow or Perugly because they're not obtainable in Platinum without trading. I might just keep doing these tier lists in reverse order and do Gen 3 next. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. If I had to choose the 3 best encounters in this game that weren't water types, I'd probably have to say something like, you know, Scizor, Glade, Dusknoir, or like something like Porygon Z. I mean, something like Porygon 2, who like can dish out hits and then heal them back up. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say Dusknoir, Glade, and Porygon 2. Those are probably the best 3. If you enjoyed or just want to show support to the channel, then be sure to Mach Punch that like button and close combat that subscribe button. This is Jay signing off. Don't forget to eat your vegetables.
I'm super effective against psychics and dark types. I'm immune to ground type attacks. I don't get why you rank me so low. I even get technician boosted wing attack and quick attack. Nobody else can do that but me. Well, I guess Scizor can too, but we're not talking about Scizor right now.